Hello, investors. This is Corey Pogue with Real Estate Investor Services, and welcome to step 9 of our 10 steps to buying and investing in real estate. One of my favorites, insurance. And in fact, this insurance stresses me out, and it might stress you out. So I put this virtual background to help calm us down while we talk about this subject. So hopefully the waves and the breeze and the palms will help you keep your blood pressure low while we talk about insurance. It's insurance has been a really interesting journey for me. Um, just in the all the different things and different options that are out there. It is a lot to take in. But there are two basic things that your property insurance, your house insurance will cover. And one is property damage, loss from something happening to the roof, or like hail on the roof destroying the roof, or something falls and caves in. I don't know, property damage. So something that damages the property, or liability, which is someone gets hurt on your property. So when we're thinking about property damage, you're gonna be asked, do you want full replacement? So are you looking to insure the house so that if it were to burn down, that the same house could be completely rebuilt, which is a higher value typically than just the cost. Replacement value is going to factor in potential increases in prices for materials and labor, versus replacement costs, or I'm not sure if it's called replacement cost now, just the cost of the house right now. You can just insure the value right now. So that's something to think about. Um, your deductible. Insurance companies will give you a variety of deductibles, and your cost of your insurance is going to be based on how much you're going to pay out of pocket if something big happens. Lenders often will have minimum requirements. My lender, when I bought my properties, had a minimum requirement of a $5,000 deductible, which is relatively high. I would suspect many of you on your personal homes have a much lower deductible. So some people are comfortable with $500, some people are comfortable with $5,000, and the cost is going to vary significantly based on that. And then the other thing I think about when I think about property damage is catastrophes. So flood coverage. I suspect most of you are not buying rental properties in a floodplain, but that doesn't mean you couldn't have a flood, depending on where you're located. Or here in Kansas City, tornado coverage is available. It's surprisingly affordable, but again, part of that is it doesn't happen that often. Of course, though, if it did, it usually is going to take out your house. So, it's just a question of what's best for you. What are you most comfortable with? Thinking about liability, these are the classic somebody tripped and fell, right? And these are for me, these are the most frustrating because it may not even be anything you did. It may not even be your house. Someone was visiting your tenant and they tripped and fell. And because it happened on your property, your insurance is going to get involved. And there are certainly various levels of liability insurance that you can choose. And I think you can choose your dollar amount of up to 100,000 or 200,000 or a million. And again, your cost is going to reflect the amount of coverage that you have. Um, so some other coverages that you may want to think about. We talked about tornado, we talked about flood, but another one is vacancy. Some of our clients have unfortunately found out that their insurance coverage stops after a vacancy of more than 30 days. So if they're in the process of making the property ready and it's not ready in 30 days and there isn't a new tenant in 30 days, their coverage stops. And what they need to do is talk to their insurance company and get a vacancy rider to fill that gap, or to have that put on as part of their plan if they want to have it covered. And I can tell you a horror story. We had a client who had a vacancy. It was longer than 30 days. And after the 30 days was over, someone broke into their house and stole their furnace and their air conditioner. And they didn't have insurance coverage. And when they didn't know that, when they called their insurance agent, he said, I'm really sorry, but it's been vacant for more than 30 days. We're not going to cover you. So they ended up being out of pocket for that expense. So understanding the coverage that you have and the coverage that you want is really important. I found that when I spoke and I tried to compare, so we all go out and typically compare insurance rates, right? So we get a quote from one company, another company, a third company, and we try to compare them all. What I found was is that we had to be very specific to understand the rates, because when we did that at first and said, "Hey, I want you to quote my 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here in Blue Springs, Missouri," they'd say, "Okay, well, it's $800." And then I'd get another one and say, "It's $1,200." And the other one would say, "Well, it's $695." And we're like, "Oh, well, the 695 is cheaper." But when we sat down, my wife and I sat down and we looked at what was included side by side, they all included and excluded different things. So then we had to go back and talk to each agent and say, "No, I want this coverage. I want you to have this deductible. I want you to exclude this coverage. I don't want that, but I want this coverage included." And until we got all of them, and it was a bit of a challenge, frankly, to get them all on the same page, we really didn't have a good idea of what was the best insurance for us. And we actually picked a different one than we originally would have if we had just gone with their first quotes, because when it came down to the actual coverage that we decided we wanted for our properties, a different insurance company was actually a better price. So uh, get to know your agent. Ask the questions: what's included, what's not included. Ask them what they would recommend and why. Um, this is your safety net. So, depending on how comfortable you are as an investor, you can decide how sturdy your safety net is. If you feel very comfortable and you have a reserve of cash somewhere that you feel comfortable self-insuring, meaning that you feel comfortable that, I can afford that $5,000 deductible and I'm really only worried about major things happening, then maybe your safety net has, some bigger space in the net. And that's okay for you because you can fill that in a different way. Maybe you're a new investor and you don't have a big savings set aside to fill those gaps in, and you want that net to be very small and very tight so that it will take care of anything and everything. That's fine. Just make sure you understand what your risk profile is and balance that with the cost. I've discovered you can pay as much for insurance as you want. And if you're not careful and balancing that, you can eat up all of your profits just in the insurance, or at least all of your cash flow, maybe not all of your profits. Remember, we make money on rental real estate from cash flow, from reduction in principal balances on the mortgage that the rent is paying down, and in increase in value in the marketplace. So you may be willing to sacrifice that cash flow so that the other two are still there and you're still getting value and seeing return from your investment. And that may make you feel safe and comfortable. And on a first time purchase, that may be a great decision for a period of time, because guess what? You can change your insurance coverage whenever you want. It may be something you try for 1 year and then reevaluate on year 2. That's totally fine. And it's wonderful. You do actually have that ability to change frequently. One of my colleagues says that he goes out and reprices his insurance every 3 years because he finds that, similar to rents, the prices go up every year. No matter where you start from, it seems to go up every year. But when you go out and look for competitive bids, often you can get that. He thinks that you can get the insurance for a little less. So that's his process. Anyway, hopefully this helps you with some ideas about talking to your insurance agent. If you don't have one, please let us know. We can refer you to several that we have worked with that we believe are reputable. And we'd be happy to get you connected so that you can start that conversation. Oh, you know what? One more thing. This one's interesting. It has nothing to do with your choices. Some insurance companies just like to insure some kinds of properties and don't like to insure other kinds of properties. Um, they're a risk reward business. And we've found that some insurance companies are willing to insure, say, 70-year-old houses, and other insurance companies, while willing to insure those, the price is really high. Why do they price it high? Because they don't want you to insure it. They don't want to have to deal with it. So sometimes, despite your best efforts, you'll find that insurance companies' policies shift and change, and searching is the best way to go. So, just another tidbit to think about as you go on this journey to get insurance for the property that you're purchasing, and as you reevaluate the insurance that you have. Looking forward to talking to you more. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions and comments, and go ahead and talk to your insurance agent. Spend the time to get to understand everything that's there, everything that they know. They'll be happy to talk to you about it, and you'll be a smarter investor for it. Thanks, and have a great day.